Welcome back to the Power of You Summit, where we've been speaking with 13 experts in the field of personal, spiritual, health, and wellness growth. And today, our very special expert is Kristie Callahan. And Kristie is a soul empowered and transformational life coach and the host of Soul Empowered Insights podcast. However, her early career began as an educator in public schools for 23 years. She's always had an innate gift for inspiring students to reach for their dreams with courage and confidence. And now, as a consultant in private practice, she brings a compassionate leadership style to individuals and businesses. She helps them remove blocks to their success and happiness. And she incorporates the use of practical educational tools with energy healing, spiritual coaching, and intuitive insight. And in this role, she continues to empower others to find their courage and confidence to blossom and succeed in their life. Kristie, welcome. Welcome. It's great you could be here today. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me, Phyllis.
Yes, and I think someone, especially with your background in public education, and you have a couple of master's degrees, not just one, you've really been a student in life and really bring an arsenal of tools to your clients. But why don't you talk to the viewers and listeners a little bit about your evolution and how you became to be in private practice now?
Oh, nice. Well, first of all, I am a third generation teacher, so the teaching just comes natural to me. And I just kind of fell into it. So I feel like I've been a born teacher for one. I just have always wanted to learn. I've always been tapped into spiritual through my own spiritual awakening and my own hardships through life.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like I've always been on the go, like always seeking something. I've worked at 6 different schools, and I just have always loved people. Phyllis, that's what it is. I just love people. I'm intrigued by people. I've always been like, love people. I want to know their story. So with my teaching and my practice, I just really want to empower people and know their story, and I think a lot of people just want to be seen and heard and valued and loved. So
Yes,
yeah.
and it's interesting because you have this more traditional background in education,
Totally.
but then you began to embrace more, more out of the box modalities in terms of energy healing and such. So talk a minute about those and how that has tempered or added to your approach with people.
Yeah. So I learned about Reiki healing about 30 years
Oh.
ago, like in 1997. So I think I just have always been in transition and change, and I've just mastered to kind of stay in the flow. And I was just kind of going through my own transitional with college, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I stumbled across Reiki healing. And then I just stumbled across a shaman teacher. So my spiritual teachers kind of came to me. And then I just didn't really, in my 20s, didn't really, wasn't ready to do the work. I was still like, no, I wanted to kind of go to college and um, do the whole teaching thing. And then my family and I did a big move about 4 or 5 years ago. And that was kind of like the catalyst of like, what do I want to do? How do I want to serve? Because I was always searching for the next job, the next school, the next position. Like every year I used to say, what do I want to do now? And I'm like, I'll go to another school. And again, it goes back to really using those tools. And 2021 was the year where the Reiki came back in. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. There was no buts about it. And then the pandemic came and people just ate up the Reiki. I was doing Reiki clinics at school. I was giving Reiki to my friends' kids that were coming over down the block. As soon as they found out that I was doing this Reiki healing, it just kind of started to manifest. And
So
that's
the
when,
Reiki has been a significant part of your life experience for some time. You only began
absolutely.
incorporating it into a professional role on purpose for the last, it sounds like
Yeah,
5 or 6 years. And then you
totally.
have some other things you do as well. But, and being an inspiring mentor in education, how have you found the differences with people you serve now, being able to bring that into your approach with leadership and confidence building and helping people remove their blocks?
So how do I use my Reiki or how do I use my skills for like teaching
Well,
and
how have you seen the effects on the people that you work with?
Oh, awesome. How do I see the effects? Honestly, I just did a session this week and it's like people are in this fight or flight mode. They're in their heads. They know what to do. And I think like for me, when I left, I struggled the longest time to leave. I was just not really happy. I had an autoimmune disorder that totally cleared up when I finally like took the leap. So I think just, people come with fear or they come with burdens or just stress. And I think just with the energy healing and with the intuitive and the coaching, it's really that empowerment. It's almost giving them clarity or permission to feel that way, but also it's okay. We all are going through trying times. And it's interesting because it usually something that I'm working on for myself just shows up at my door. So I'm like, oh, I got this. I just kind of work through that worthiness, or I just kind of work through feeling this way and not being able to, feel grounded in my body.
Well, it sounds like in these other modalities, you've really helped people soften towards themselves more, and they realize there's
Yeah.
more room to move about the cabin, if you
Yes.
want to refer to it that way. And then it's like you've continued. It's like you have your podcast, Soul Empowered Insights. I believe that's the title. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
mistaken. And you
Yeah.
are also Soul Empowered Transformational Life Coach. What does that actually mean, and what do you talk about on your podcast?
I talk about just empowering and moving through obstacles in life and just knowing that you are abundant, you are enough. We've talked about just, there are so many tools that we have that are free, that are in our back pocket. And people just feel so alone. And, we're never alone in this journey. And if I could just give them a bit of sunshine, I used to be part of a sunshine committee in three of my schools. So if anyone's listening to this, they know exactly what it is with the sunshine committee. I don't know. I just have this way of being of just bringing out the higher vibration in someone because we all have ups and downs and turns. And even you, Phyllis, I always love to say this, being the buoy in the ocean, right? That stuck with me. So thank you for that. So on my podcast, I kind of just my messaging really, I do a meditation and I ask what is it that needs to come through me, and a lot of it just comes through my own channeling, if that makes sense. I just kind of put some notes out. And since I'm not in the classroom right now, my podcast has been my platform of just getting it out, if that makes sense.
Wonderful. And well, it really sounds like I love this idea of really being in the flow of energy, but I'm sure you have some specific things you try with people. And for purposes of the Power of You Summit, when your work is so much about empowerment and helping others
Yeah.
build confidence and trust in themselves, what are some thoughts you have about power, how we access our power, what power actually is? And anything else you might want to say about power?
So I think power is it's almost like your authentic being. It's like who you are and uncovering the 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 ways that people have made you feel. And you know empowering is like standing in your truth, standing in some people might not know what that is, but it is like a programming of you are powerful, you are worthy, you are exactly where you need to be. And sometimes it just be a matter of like setting healthy boundaries and looking around, what is it that doesn't feel good? Because some people are just in autopilot, and If we have toxic relationships, how is that impacting your day-to-day life? And just, I think the power of you is just stepping in and knowing that you have everything that you need. And just depending on who it is and where they are, meeting them where they are. Sometimes it's just a matter of somebody just being heard and they haven't had an art, you
Well,
know.
those are such great points. And I think that, yeah, that piece about really being with yourself and what doesn't feel good, it seems so simple, but it really is the path I think we've really come to realize. And I know for purposes of this summit, you generously have provided a free gift for listeners and viewers. Talk about what that is and why you decided to offer that particular gift.
It's funny, Phyllis. I just have been really connected. It's about spirit guides, and I have a meditation, and I know that we're not in this path alone. I just remember as a little kid knowing that I was never alone and just having, guides and ancestors and loved ones on the other side. And, my intuition, I just feel safe knowing that. I think the Wayne Dwyer, I'm going to paraphrase, he even said, if we knew that all the helpers that we have with us all the time, that we would never worry or we would never be afraid. Something around that. I don't know his exact quote, but like, so when we're ever feeling like the fear or worry or doubt, I always remember that no, we have help. We might not always see them, but you can feel them and they will guide you. So my gift, I had a spiritual mentor walk me through something similar to this, and it was the most powerful thing for
Mm.
me to really raise your vibration and meet your guardian angels. It kind of just, it's just a sense of being love and unconditional love. And that's really all I want for my clients and for people is just to feel that love.
So
And
is this an audio? What is
yes,
this? Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so it's an audio guided meditation that walks you through to meeting your guides. And then I have a bonus download that can kind of give you some tips to really start to form a relationship with them, and see how your life can shift knowing that you have the help and that you have, the synchronicities and
Well,
just
that sounds amazing. I know a lot of people are quite curious about this topic and really do not know where to begin. So it's really lovely that you could offer this to people to really delve into this reality in a very safe and sensitive way. So I thank you so much for that. Well, and as we sort of finish up our time together here today, and is there anything else you'd like to say about anything, power, your business, what you feel called to share with the viewers or listeners that we haven't discussed, or a question I haven't asked? What would you like to share with the listeners and viewers?
I just want to say that like I see you. I feel like my clients come to me. I'm always going to be in their corner. I just think like I see things through an astrological well. I think like I have two things that I'm gifted at. I just see people for who they are. And I also give intuitive readings. I've been working with an intuitive, and I think like just giving those messages and clarity for people when they're ready, when they're ready. I just know that, yeah, they can find me. So the energy, coaching, intuitive insights, all here for Kristie Callahan. So thank you.
And it's KristieCallahan.com. And of course, on the Power of You site, there you can get to the free gift. And Kristie, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your joyful, bright spirit, and for offering all you are to our viewers and listeners.
Thank you. Thank you, Phyllis.
And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in again. And tomorrow will be our final speaker, Neil Donald Walsh. And they'll just take advantage of all these wonderful gifts because they'll only be up for about 3 more days. But again, thanks very much for tuning in. I'm your host, Phyllis King. Have a wonderful day.